Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Capital A Trading and welcome to another episode of my Forex Weekly. So for those of you who don't know, I'm just going to analyze the charts, look for the best investment opportunities and then bring them to you. If that sounds good, if you trade, if you take investments, hit that subscribe button in the bottom right corner. Stay up to date with the channel. There's a lot of exciting content coming from now until the end of the year, a lot of educational content. So for any traders that are new and want to learn this skill and want to take it further, check out my website. That's www.capitalatrading.co.uk. There's tons of information on there and you can check out my mentorship program. With that being said, I just want to say a quick shout out to my sponsors, the Absolutely magazine. Thank you for all your support, all your hard work. Check that out. It's available now in all Waitrose and M&S stores. With that being said, we're going to get into the fundamentals and then go straight into the charts.
Okay, as always, it's important to check the fundamentals at the start of the week just to make sure you know when the charts may be impacted, when we could see some volatility. Now, what I would first want to mention this week is that Friday, we have the NFP non-farm payrolls. That usually means that we're going to get a slow week up until, of course, the latter part of the week. So first of all, Monday, again, nothing really to worry about there. Maybe something on the Canadian dollar around the New York Open. Nothing too special. Tuesday, the news picks up a little bit. There'll be an unemployment rate for the euro. And again, there'll be some news around the Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar in the evening. Nothing really too massive, going to impact the charts too wildly. Again, Wednesday starts to pick up again. I'll be watching around the US dollar to see if there's going to be anything in the evening there just before the close. Thursday, again, I'll be watching the euro's unemployment rate, seeing if anything's going to happen in that. And then, of course, Friday, just after the New York Open, and of course the Canadian dollar's unemployment rate. So looking to see maybe a move in the USDCAD. So with that being said, let's get into the charts. Okay, first up is going to be gold. Now, for those of you who follow me, you'll know I mentioned a wonderful move recently from the 1870 mark, coming all the way down to basically the 1770 mark. So what I'm looking at now for this week is I just like the way price is holding up in this area inside the market gap. It has tapped a candle of interest to me. So I'm just going to watch to see how this area holds up around the 1780, let's say 1790, somewhere in there. And then just look to see price push back towards this 1840 mark. Now, if I just come down to the 2 hour, this is what I'm looking to see price come back with, interact with this area, and then it may be a sell. So I'm keeping two open minds. I'm expecting to see a buy push from this level, from the price action that I can see here, riding it towards, let's say, the 1840 level, 1845, give it a bit of space. And then there may be a sell opportunity there, providing price action plays out the way I want it to. Keep an eye on that one. That's going to be gold. Okay, like I mentioned, it's been a really good fourth quarter. Again, another trade recently mentioned on my Forex Weeklies around the 36,300 mark on the US 30. I saw price action come towards my area twice, something that the market makers are known for doing. And we've now had a monstrous move to the downside. I wouldn't think about selling that now with all that bearish action that's just happened. If I just come onto the daily, what I would say that I'm focusing on now is I just want to see price interact with this area here around the 34,400, 34,600. I just want to see what price is going to do here. Is it going to struggle? There may be a buy opportunity for price to start rising again. So keep an eye on that one this week. That's going to be the US 30. Quick update on Bitcoin. I get a lot of messages on this throughout the week. What I'm seeing is price has hit the 67 mark and it started to create a very powerful bearish action. It looks like it's heading to the downside very, very powerfully. I believe it could come all the way back to the 40,000 mark and wipe out this area here before we start to see it reviving, before we start to see it pushing again. So just keep an eye on that. I do believe it is just coming down a lot lower, wiping out any early buyers into this market. And then we're going to start to see the revival, but I don't think that will be until early next year. So for those of you who ask, that's my opinion on Bitcoin. Okay, I'm really ending the fourth quarter by really focusing on the UK100. For those of you who follow me, you'll know that I've been mentioning this area up here around the 7,300, 7,350 mark for ages. In fact, I've been talking about it all year. It's finally got to the point of interest, as you can see here with this blue candle tapping the top red line. It's finally interacted with this small black candle here. It let me know that a transaction is about to kick off. If I just come down to the daily, you'll now see what they've done on Friday, where they're now starting to show you the effects of that trade. They can't hide it no more. They're definitely entering the market and the money is pumping to the downside. If I just come to a 4-hour again, you can see the area I've been talking about. There it is. And we're now starting to leave it very, very aggressively. If I just come down onto a 2-hour, I'm going to focus on this area here this week around the 7175 to say 7200. If we are going to get a retest, I want to see it come back up towards this area, and then it may take off again. Keep an eye on that one. It is going to be my main focus. That is the UK100. Okay, let's get into the currencies. Now, again, I'll start with the baby. For those of you who know, I've been following this euro pound all year. I've been annihilating the sell side back in the pound. And just something I want to monitor this week is back towards this area here around the 85-200. So we've had a nice move recently pushed to the downside. I want to see what happens when it gets back towards this level, if it's going to create another sell transaction around 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm looking to synchronize it with a London Open. There is some euro news as well to keep an eye on, just to see if that's going to cause it to rise higher. So keep an eye on that 85-200. I'm going to say 85-400. Give it a bit of space to breathe. I believe we may get another sell transaction kicking off from this point this week. That's the euro pound. I want to go straight into the pound USD, talk about a trade that was mentioned inside the Discord last week from this point here. And as you can see now, it's made a monstrous move to the downside. What I want to talk about is what I saw on a lower time frame. I believe it was the 1 hour. Here it is. It's actually the 30 minutes. This level here, this scenario, this 1 o'clock New York Open. And price came back towards it, had a push to the downside, and finished the week right here again and had a little movement down. So I'm just going to say, keep an eye on this area. I do believe the US dollar may start the week strong and start pushing to the downside, maybe even wiping out this new low. So just kind of keeping an eye on that area around the 133.500. Give it a bit of space, 133.600. I believe we're going to get a sell transaction kickoff from there this week. Next trade is a trade that lost. I mentioned this last week. I want to speak about the area. There was a sell point here. It came to it, hit the area twice, had a little movement to the downside, and then later on in the week, rose up and grabbed the liquidity. I do believe that's going to play from a different area now, but I want to see Monday, Tuesday play out before I decide where there may be another opportunity here. So keep an eye on that one. That's going to be the pound Aussie. Okay, so regarding the USDCAD, I do believe we're going to get a sell position soon opening up somewhere on this chart. I believe it's going to be around the 128 mark. If you look at this weekly picture, you can see that price is just coming back to an area where it's dropped from before. I then come down to the daily. It's around this 128 mark. I like this piece of price action here with this candle. And of course, what's happened when it came back. Obviously, it's now just back in a key area. It's obviously been here before, so it's very, very liable for price to just ride higher, taking out the liquidity. But I want to see some struggles. I want to see something that may line up with some Canadian dollar news this week. And if it does start to stick underneath the 128, I'll be thinking about entering a position to ride down towards the 125 mark. So keep an eye on that one. That's going to be USDCAD. Okay, like I mentioned at the start of the video, it's been a very, very good fourth quarter. And this was another trade that was mentioned recently around the 72 level on the NZDUSD. And it's now made a monstrous move to the downside, almost 400, 500 pips. So what I'm expecting now is that the bearish trend is definitely underway. It's definitely heading to the downside, as you can see with all this movement. All I'd be focusing on is a little retest back towards the 68,500 mark, maybe 68,700, give it a bit of space, and then price continuing in this manner towards the downside. So if you are trying to jump on this chart, just be aware that it's very bearish, and I believe it's just heading to the downside now. That's the NZDUSD. Okay, next up is going to be the pound NZD. First of all, I just want to talk about this daily picture, the daily movement. We've had a new swing from this point here, flushed down all the way towards the 189, 188 mark, and now we've come all the way back to a key selling area, which is the 196 level, which I'm going to be monitoring. So this was Friday's price action. This was weird enough that it shot up towards this level and just had a little bit of a rejection and stayed underneath. So we're going to see how the week starts. Of course, the New Zealand dollar is going to kick off first with their session opening. Let's see if the strength's there. Let me see how this 196 area holds up. I do believe if I start to see some signs of struggle, I'm ready to take a position here for a massive sell to the downside. Keep an eye on that one. It's going to be the pound NZD. Okay, next up is going to be the USDJPY. I've been monitoring these daily swings. I like what happened from the 113 mark, how price went up and made a new high. And then weirdly enough on Friday, it shot back to the same level and again had a sign of rejection. So basically, keep an eye on the 113 mark, give it a bit of space, 112,800 to 113,200, somewhere in there. I believe we're going to start to see price struggling at this level, struggling to break lower, and then the push to the upside, at least maybe making a new high above the 115,500 mark. So keep an eye on that one. Again, synchronize it with some news. Expect it to be a slow week. Later on in the week, expect to start seeing this kick off with, of course, that NFP news. That's the USDJPY. Okay, last but not least will be the NZDCAD. Now, this is actually a trade that a student mentioned to me. He caught it himself from this level here around the 88,800. And it's been a nice, good trade. So I do believe we're in a bearish movement. I believe we're heading to the downside. What I want to see next week is price just push back towards this 88 level. If I just come down to the 2 hour, it looks a bit clearer. That's what I want to see price interact with. That's where I believe they've left their latest transaction. And I'm looking to just see price hit into it with some Canadian dollar news again later in the week. See that get stronger, and then there'll be a sell kicking off from the 88 mark. So keep an eye on that one. It's going to be the NZDCAD.
Okay guys, again, thanks for watching. That's all from me this week. If you like that, hit the like button. If you dislike it, hit the dislike button. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you want to learn more about trading, if you want to take this skill further, if you've already got an advanced understanding and want to learn a new strategy, check out my website, www.capitalatrading.co.uk, and all the information's on there. Before I go, I just want to say a quick shout out to my sponsors, the Absolutely Magazine. Thank you for all your hard work, all your support. It's available now in all Waitrose and M&S stores. It's been a really good fourth quarter. There's been some really good trades. The UK100, the Pound USD, the NZDUSD. This week, my main focus is going to be that UK100. So be sure to keep an eye on it. Thanks for watching.